Hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna keep this short and straight to the point. I noticed some of you guys are actually thinking that Facebook groups can bring you guys high quality leads. And I keep seeing this pop up on my Facebook whenever I'm in these groups. You're putting in the work, you're dropping your information and then hustling to get your name out there. But I want to pull the curtain back and give you guys an unfiltered look at what's actually happening when you reply on these, Facebook statuses and what happens when you rely on these groups for leads because it's actually working against you, especially when you drop your phone number in public. You're basically hoping the homeowner sees it and books a job, when in reality there's probably 30 comments on that post and another 100 DMs that person's getting. And it's all people willing to drop the price, go below margin. Not only that, you're gonna start getting cold calls from people like me trying to sell you the actual way to generate leads. And some of them might not be honest, some of them might just take your money and leave. So let's talk about what actually happens when a real homeowner does post. For example, this guy needs a steel fence installed at his property, right? Let's just say he's out in Stone Oak or Alamo Heights. But you've got all of these guys here posting business cards, their phone number, pictures of previous work, what they've done. And on top of that, they're also getting DMs about this, right? You're competing on price at this point. But to them, every single homeowner that sees that, you've basically become a commoditized business. You're not a premium service provider anymore. You're just one of the 50 names begging for a job in a text-heavy comment section. So instead of getting your hopes up and putting time that you don't control into this, that is not going to bring in any quality leads, you have to figure out what the two traps are first before you even implement any kind of strategy. So trap number one, this is the race to the bottom because every homeowner has a bunch of options, 50 to 100. People, they're going to start DMing the people asking for and start asking for quotes, right? Or they're going to start answering the people who already DM them that aren't visible in the comment section. And so they don't know the difference between the quality between you and the guy next to you. The only metric they're able to judge on is price. So now you're competing on being the absolute cheapest option. And if you don't know how to do sales and you don't know what you're doing, you start to cut your margins just to win the job. And before you even know it, you're working twice as hard for half the money and you can't scale your business like that. You can't reinvest it into marketing because you've sold it just so you can one get a job, pay your team, and at least maybe have a little bit of money to cover rent or the rest of your bills for the rest of the month. So, and trap number two, you're going to be stuck in the testimonial war. If you don't want to drop your price, now they're going to start asking for testimonials. And whoever has the most testimonials is the one that's going to win, right? But even then, if someone's going to, like, they don't know the difference. They don't know the difference between quality work and low quality work. All they know is like, okay, these guys do the same exact thing. Let's just go with the guy who does it for less. And it's going to leave them with unfinished jobs, surprised price increases, just a terrible experience for them overall. So what you're going up against is basically, if you're trying to grow your business, it is extremely hard to beat the guys that have already built the history, right? The guys that have been at the game. And it makes, growing your business feel impossible because you're stuck in these groups, right? Like these guys. There's 27 comments on this page. This guy's looking for subcontractors, framers, concrete, roofers, drywall, right? Message this and you can email this number, right? People are leaving these phone numbers here because they're looking for jobs, right? Might not be homeowners, but there's still opportunities that for them. At least they're trying to get paid. Again, there's a bunch of people out here like remodelers trying to get jobs, and at the end of the day, it's not gonna work, right? So how do we fix this? If you're serious about scaling, you have to transition from chasing leads in a crowded text forum like Facebook to attracting them to a premium visual environment where you're the only option that's on their screen, right? So all you need to do is you have to have a dialed in Instagram ad strategy. And the reason why Instagram is changing the game is because, back then, 50 years ago, everybody wanted to be on the first page of a newspaper. Not the case anymore. Attention shifted over to Google, but everything is changing on Google now, where it's making it very hard for small business owners and people who want to actually bring in more leads to be able to do that, right? And so attention is shifting over on Instagram, where you're no longer competing with a list of people commenting their business, putting their phone number, willing to lower their price more than you, or have tons of testimonials. It's only you and your ability to sell these guys on what you do, right? So you put your money into a targeted piece of content like a video, just like we do. showing exactly what you do here in San Antonio. And when they're scrolling, they don't see 50 other guys. They just see your brand, your face, and your premium work taking up their entire phone screen. And it's not just about, views, it's actually about being able to capture people that turn into actual clients, right? You could spend all day on Facebook groups trying to get leads. That takes you, I don't know, could take you up to 10 hours a day. And whereas you have your actual business bringing in leads on Instagram, and that is where things change. And having an ad that says, oh, link in bio or taking to a website just doesn't work anymore. You have to have a dialed in Instagram strategy that actually uses an actual system and framework that is able to bring in those people to your business. And the second that the homeowner is able to identify what you do when they either DM you or like your post, you should be able and willing to reach out to them and talk to them and ask them a few questions about their business. Not just if they ask about price, don't tell them, oh, well, we do it for 5,000, right? Because that's not how that works. That is not how the sales process works. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so you have your marketing right here. Let's say marketing is the circle with an M. That's only half the job, right? You're driving traffic to your side. Now your side is sales, which is this triangle with an S on top. The sales here are what's going to bring in revenue, right? We're going to make that a green. But what happens in the process a lot of times is that you drive traffic, and when they ask you for price, you immediately give them the price and you don't get them in front of you. You don't try to get them on the phone with you. You just say, hey, we charge this much a lot of times. And so that gives them the ability to go price shop. Oh, well, now I know how much he charges. Let's go with somebody else. So it doesn't matter how many leads. You might be getting 1,000 leads right here from your marketing, but if you can't take them through a sales process, it doesn't matter. As soon as they find out your price, you're probably going to lose about 900 of them because of the price. And so, that's the difference between hoping for work and engineering a predictable growth system within your business, right? Using Instagram as that system. And I know you probably do great work, right? You just need to have that infrastructure to support it. That way you're not wasting time fighting in the comment sections. And this is the exact same Instagram strategy that we build for local businesses out here in San Antonio. And if you're tired of the race to the bottom and what we see, and we want to see what a targeted Instagram ad looks like, just follow us here on Instagram or respond to the comments on YouTube, and we'll get you started and build a personalized video just for your business, showing you exactly what that would look like.